You ever wonder what is the truth?
Three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
That's you, girl.
Set you free!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Point Blank Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Molina, and of course, sitting across from me is the one and only Cole Everyman. Cole, thank you so much for coming back to the studio with us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, we have traditionally let you kind of run it. This is in the way I'm looking at you. We have traditionally kind of let you kind of run it, and I like how that goes. We got some emails from some fans I showed you about how they appreciate your perspective. Having a smart woman's perspective is so important, and honestly, I agree. You know,
Thank you.
Nothing against Derek, but jeez, what a contrast it has been.
Whatever you say.
We love you, Derek. We love you, Derek. Man, I mean, let's just get right into the meat and potatoes of what's
Sure,
been going
of
on
course,
before we talk
yeah.
about the board meeting. So we had a board meeting, the
August 26th.
August 26th.
Yeah.
August 26th board meeting, and there was a lot of drama, a lot of chaos.
Yep.
And this episode is actually going to drop after the next board meeting airs.
Right.
So
A couple days after, yeah.
yeah. So, a lot of the drama got tabled for the next board meeting.
Right.
So I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if people are going to show up in full force again. I have no idea. I guess we never know what we're going to get.
We really don't anymore.
Yeah.
So it's always a
I mean,
surprise.
so I was there, and pretty hectic stuff.
Yep.
You know, I don't know if there were a lot of outsiders or what the deal was.
I think it was like half and half.
Yeah.
Locals and outsiders.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some new faces.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even just from the angles that I saw during the meeting on YouTube, but also people that went there and filmed from their own perspective. So I saw those angles too, and I was like, oh, wow, I haven't seen some of these people before.
Yeah, it's wild. And then that kind of, so real quick, because we got to talk about it, because then we're going to have the board meeting next week. So we had the walkout at
Right.
James L. Day Middle School. I mean, I've been posting about it just to kind of clarify things and
Right.
and really paint the image. And obviously it's skewed towards my perspective, and there's people in the community who don't agree with me. So I'm interested to know what was your perspective of all of that? Like the walkout, do you think it was appropriate? Do you think the counter protest was appropriate? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I really haven't heard much.
Right. So I think I did make a statement through one of the comments at one point when we were hearing that was going to happen. I've never been a fan of walkouts. I just don't feel like they're very productive. I get that they get attention, and sometimes that's the only goal, and this one definitely did. I do believe in people getting to protest, though, so that is their right, and to counter protest and all that good stuff. So I support the fact that people are using their rights and their ability to bring attention to an issue that's really important to them. It is to me, too. You know, that's not to confuse it with, oh, I support what's been going on at that school. Absolutely not. I made that very clear publicly in the comments that if it were my daughters, I wouldn't continue subjecting them to that. I would just pull them out.
Right.
I feel that's the most effective way, but other people don't have that perspective, and that's okay. I appreciate the fact that they're standing up for what they believe is right, because this is a huge issue. It's a safety issue, and it's a privacy issue. And I don't think that any child, male or female, should be subjected to having to be accommodated for a minority group. And I've mentioned that in the past as well, because I am a special ed parent, and I don't expect for anyone to give my kids special privileges or accommodation while everyone else is uncomfortable or has to kind of work around them. That's why we have a program for that.
Right.
So I think in this case, there's still a lot that's like rumored, and then there's like certain facts that we're still not aware of. From what I've gathered currently, it sounds like they were accommodated, this person, and obviously the girls are still uncomfortable, as they should be, of course.
Yeah.
But like I said, I wouldn't continue sending my daughters to any school that continues to subject them to that environment when they've already made it very clear that they're uncomfortable and they don't feel safe, changing with the opposite sex.
Yeah.
That's a normal thing to feel. And they're really young on top of it. Obviously, there's some rumors that there's some activism going on and some coercion going on until we get all of the facts. If that is true, we need to investigate that. And those teachers, those staff members need to be held accountable immediately, because that's not okay.
Right.
It's one thing to have to deal with their hands being tied with the law. It's a whole other thing when they are trying to coerce children and push their beliefs and their views in a on-site, in-school setting.
Yeah.
That's just a no-go for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, that's one of the things that I'm still trying to figure out what the case is, right? Like
Right.
I heard that the trans student is an 8th grade student.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. See?
And that student used to change in the nurse's office.
Interesting. So why didn't that continue?
Right.
Then this whole thing would be a non-issue.
Right. But so and that's right. Is
Yeah,
like that's
that's
the thing where
odd.
it's like, well, there you go. That's why it's a thing now. Is
Right.
because this child used to change in the nurse's office allegedly. I mean,
Right.
this is what I've heard.
Right.
Used to change in the nurse's office, and then now has made the decision like, hey, it's the law. I can go in the girls' locker room, and there are biological girls who are uncomfortable with that. And the
Rightfully
thing,
so.
like at the end of the day, like it's just, I think that needs to be respected. And in the context of our school board, what bothers me, and I also made a post about this, is how the right to privacy thing was brought up in May, and how it was just completely dismissed.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, like
It was
we do.
mishandled.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we already have these rights. We don't need the board or the school district to make decisions to tell our daughters that they have a right. Like, we don't have to wait for them. Our daughters already have a right to privacy. And then at this meeting, those 8th grade girls, very brave girls, went up there and spoke. And you could hear the uncomfortability in their,
Yeah.
like, even under her breath, she's like, this shouldn't be a thing. It's like I was in the back of the room and I got kind of emotional because I'm thinking like, I'm an adult failing these girls. I'm part of the problem here. These girls should not have to deal with this.
No, they shouldn't.
And that's the point that we're missing. It's like these activists from the left show up and they make it about the trans child. Look, nobody's denying the existence of trans people.
Correct.
The fact that this is a thing in itself is acknowledging the existence of trans
Correct.
people. We're
Right.
just saying like, hey, our girls are uncomfortable. That doesn't make them mentally ill. That doesn't mean that they have to decide to be super religious. It just means that they have their own right to privacy.
Correct.
And it should be respected. And obviously, with the allegations of staff members trying to coerce them in the locker
Right.
room, that means that our district is not completely educated on this.
Right.
And that's where, as parents, we have to have influence and we have to come in. Like, I completely supported the walkout. And the thing is we have more national attention than we had with the last board, the conservative stuff and the recall.
It's a wildfire that cannot be contained at this point, and it's for all the wrong reasons. And a lot of what's happening is there's not enough context. So I am all for whether something spreads like wildfire or not, as long as all of the truth, all of the facts, and all of the context are there. But it's clipping things, and it's taking things out of context or using it to cause more outrage and more media attention. And that's where I unsubscribe. Like, I want nothing to do with that, because we have to be able to state the facts. Our own community members already aren't in the know enough, and that's on them, obviously. So they're just going off of, wow, look at this influencer and this influencer and this political figure. They're all talking about it. It must be true. Well, yes, to a degree, what is being shared is, but we have to have all of the facts, because now we're having more people from the outside trying to look in and coming to the meetings and having their own input, which is fine and great, and it's their right. But please get all the facts first, because that is where more outrage and tension and chaos is created. And the whole point of what we're trying to do is mitigate all this to calm things down and make sure that all kids are safe, all kids are comfortable, and all kids' rights are being respected. Again, because of the laws we're dealing with. And the thing is a lot of these influencers aren't even in California. So they don't understand the laws that we're dealing with. And again, as you mentioned, where we feel like we've failed because we're the parents, right? In California, I feel like parents have really missed the mark. They have not been paying attention for very valid reasons. But at the end of the day, we are in this situation because we failed as parents and paying attention to legislation that affects our children. And without us fighting that battle, we're going to continue to have the chaos that we do at the local level. And the local level can do nothing about it. And so when they try to find workarounds, which they obviously didn't do a very good job of, as we're seeing now, they're just trying to find a way around the law until it can be changed. They can't change it. That's on us as community members and Californians. We have to change that.
But here's the other thing that's it's been on my mind a lot lately, because people showed up to counter protest. But they had their own protest also on the Saturday before.
I saw that, yeah.
And it's like, look, we were told as parents with the CRT thing, with the first parental rights policy, we were told as parents, if you want to break the law, don't use the school district to do it. Go to Sacramento and make those changes. Okay, fine.
Right.
Our daughters have a right to privacy.
Absolutely.
Nobody gets to stand in front of me and tell me that the rights that I have and am trying to say, hello, I can use this right. You don't get to tell me, no, you have to do this. You don't get, no. Go to Sacramento and change it.
Right.
Go to Sacramento and change it. You don't get to do that.
Right.
So like, that's my thing is I hate being anti anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not productive. If somebody wants to make moves, to make changes, and I don't support it, I just don't show up.
Correct.
But when you show up to like counter something, it makes things worse.
It does,
in my opinion.
Especially with the viral clip that we saw with that countering of that protest. And the thing is, I think outsiders looking in, they're missing the point of, we don't have to agree with that interaction, because I don't at all. I thought it was just ridiculous and immature and just uncivilized. However, it is everyone's right to say whatever they want, whenever they want. That's not without consequence. However, it is their right. So even if I don't agree with what that woman was saying and how she approached the other people, it's still her right.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the specifics. Was she already on the clock as a district employee? She was. Handle her. Put that accountability in. And I would say that even if it was for the other side. If you are on the clock and you're doing this.
Yeah, you're being paid and you're not even on your school site. You're on another school site.
Correct.
With your phone in the face of people because you don't like them because they're elected officials and you feel like, look, if anything is you feel like, you should probably just keep your mouth shut.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because your feelings are now going to conflict with their feelings and no feelings take priority. Right. And it's like, she was like highlighting like, you're killing kids. It's like, you're making this political. You're making this about trans hate. This has nothing to do with it. And even though in the video, the one of the people she was talking to was like, no, it's a boy. It's like, like that's where you guys have a disagreement. And that's a lot of times that's where the disagreement lies. Like I've stopped engaging with people in the comments because a lot of people think that when I comment to them, like And I feel the same way. Like it's in the comments. It feels like people are speaking at you and not with you.
Correct.
So when people have an opposing view and they enter my comments, I hit them in the DMs. And I've been exchanging with people in the DMs, just like giving my perspective and asking them for theirs. And it's this weird thing where they're like, oh, well, we're not even having the same conversation because you're saying it's a boy and it's a trans girl. It's like you're playing semantics.
Correct.
We don't get to control each other's tongues.
Right.
If you want to play along with that, that's your right.
Yeah.
Just like it's their right to say, like, I
I'm
don't
not
subscribe to that.
Exactly.
You know, like we don't get to control each other in that way. Everybody has their own right. Like if and I've said this multiple times, if one of my kids come out as trans, obviously, like that would be something that I want to make sure it's their decision. They feel that way. However, the first thing I will instill in them is the reality that nobody has to subscribe to this. You don't get to be a victim now. You're choosing to do this. I'm your dad. I will support you. However, you don't get to bully people. You don't get to tell them that they have to use your pronouns.
Correct.
You don't get to, that's not how this world works. There's freedom of speech. You're free to live how you want, and other people are free to disagree. And we're losing that. We're losing that. Like, people showed up. I feel like the counter protests that showed up, their intentions were to say, no, prioritize the trans girl. It's not a boy. It's a trans girl. She belongs there. It's like,
no one said
look,
that he didn't.
Yeah, it's like that's not.
I'm going to get hate for saying that, but
he and it's so funny. No, but the thing is like here's the thing. I have trans family member, right, and I like it's my cousin. I love her, right. It's like okay. I'll play the game because I love you and I know you. And
I'll do the name.
Right.
I won't do the pronoun thing. If you tell me your name is Kelly and clearly you are Ken, if your name is Kelly, I will call you Kelly.
Right.
But I will not subscribe to your pronouns. I'll be respectful.
Right.
Of course. I would never be hateful or try to have that war.
Yeah.
You're a man.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And here's the other thing is sometimes I try to be respectful and I slip up. You know what I mean?
Because not, this is kind of a new age thing. So we're all trying to adjust. And at the end of the day, we're called to just respect each other. It doesn't mean we have to accept each other's realities. There's a difference. Two things can be true at the same time.
But here's the thing. The point that I'm making with this is like, look, if I don't know you, don't expect me to like just play along.
Because you don't know the story.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you go by they, them, or he, her. Or what. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not gonna make that the topic of the discussion.
Correct.
If I misgender you and you correct me, I'll do my best.
Right.
And if I mess up, I'm not purposely disrespecting you.
It's not out of hate or disrespect.
And the thing is that person knows that.
Correct.
In our engagement, in our exchange, they know that.
Yes.
You know. But my point is this: is I choose to use language where I just speak about them in the third person.
It's easier.
Yeah, it's easier. I'm not gonna play this game, right? It's like instead of saying he or she, I say the student, or the child.
That's very
good.
Yeah.
The student, right? The trans child,
right?
And again, like it's just like I'm not playing anybody's game here. You're not gonna pigeonhole me into like this. Oh, you're a Christian nationalist, or you're a right wing extremist.
Your labels mean nothing to me. I know the truth. The Lord knows the truth. He knows my heart. I would never, just like you're saying, I would never blatantly make someone feel less than,
right,
or unimportant, or hated, or that they didn't belong. That's wild.
And the thing is. I feel like even the people in our community that are saying, no, that's a boy, feel the same way.
Yeah.
They're not saying it in a disrespectful manner.
Right.
You're like, it's the opposition that's trying to paint it that way.
Right.
They're trying to get you to go into that argument so you can say it, and then they go, ha, bigot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
The point of this whole situation is about protecting girls' privacy. That's what this is about.
Yep.
That's what the policies were about. The mental health policy, as much as people didn't like it, that's what they were trying to do.
Correct. protect the girls
Yeah,
and their privacy,
exactly.
their right to privacy.
So it's like any other conversation is you playing a political game.
Correct.
And I refuse to play along on either
Likewise.
side.
Likewise, yep.
A child is a child. I don't subscribe to all of the nonsense on either side.
I don't either.
And
it's too extreme.
yeah, it's
just
too
like, guys,
much.
it's not black and white. There's a lot of nuance.
Right.
And then there's the facts, and then there's your feelings.
Yeah.
And they're not mutually exclusive.
It's not the same thing.
Yes.
And the problem that we're having is people produce their feelings through their ideology, and then they become attached to that.
Correct.
And it almost becomes their identity.
Right.
And if you're attached to your feelings and
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it is, because
Yeah.
you could be wrong.
Yep.
You could be wrong. And then you just end up digging yourself in this hole of pitifulness, and then you
And
end
it's
up,
all over the internet too.
it
I
never
think
goes
that's
away.
the hardest part, is that you're never going to be able to live that down. I would have preferred, I'm sure, I'd like to give the benefit of the doubt here, because I'm not even sure who was recording them.
Right.
But if she hadn't had her phone out, I feel like they could have had a really decent
normal
conversation.
Exactly.
And then nothing would have been viral, and they could have walked away and went, we don't
Exactly.
agree to disagree.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
that's
That's
what
what's
I'm talking
missing.
about. That's why I don't engage in the comments anymore, is because you think what I'm telling you, I won't tell you. You think I'm saying it
To your
for
face.
a show.
No, I wanna tell you
I'm telling you this is
exactly.
my position.
Right.
And when I tell you that in the DMs, you're not going to try to straw man my argument.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You're going to, so I
Twist
don't
your
know.
words.
Yeah,
Get people to
just,
come in and be
right,
part of the
tag
argument.
other people.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh my
it's-
gosh.
And again, it goes nowhere.
It doesn't.
It goes nowhere.
It's not productive.
You know,
I won't
it's-
engage either.
Yeah. I don't know. I've done a better job of that. And also, I've been able to post more. You know what I mean? So it's like, the less that I'm engaging with people in the comments, the more I can just post and move on with my life.
Absolutely.
And, we've been putting out weekly content on the
Yep.
podcast. So it's like, dude,
That's productive.
Yeah, it's productive, right? And we're just trying to keep things moving, right? But when it comes to this, at the end of the day, the side that has the problem with what's going on is not prioritizing trans hate,
Correct.
is not trying to skylight that one trans child.
Right.
That's not what's going on.
Right.
What's going on is we have parents that have 13-year-old daughters who are saying, this boy that I've known since 4th grade, 3rd grade, the boy became a trans in middle school, dad, and used to change in the nurse's office, and now he's in the locker room, and it makes me uncomfortable.
And that's valid.
Yeah, that is the thing that parents are standing for. That view and and it needs to be respected.
100%. And I kind of want to piggyback on that, because we're both parents. So I feel for both sides of this. Because like I said, if it were my daughters, case closed. They'd just be pulled out. That's it. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not subjecting them to that, all of that. With that said, those little girls have a right to privacy, point blank, period. That's not an argument. It should not be an argument. It should not be political. It's ridiculous. On the flip side, I do want to just give my empathy for the parents of this trans child, and the trans child that probably feels like they're being singled out. Again, feelings, but I get it. I'm sure they're just like, wow, it's about me. I'm the only one, right? And who knows? We don't know anything about this kid. We don't know why things changed, why that accommodation changed. Because again, if it hadn't, we wouldn't be here today talking about it.
Yeah.
I empathize with the parents. I don't know them. I don't know this child. I have no context besides what we're seeing in the news and what we're hearing from the locals. It can't be easy. But again, we just talked about that. Whatever you decide to identify as or stand for, it's going to have opposition. It's going to have hurt feelings. It's going to have certain realities that are going to change for you. and it's going to feel like you're singled out. So I want to extend my empathy. I don't subscribe to that narrative or that lifestyle. That's just not for me. But I can also have empathy for this child if they really are going through it and feel singled out. They're not being singled out, though. It just happens. They happen to be the one that was the ripple effect for what we're dealing with now, which is the other side of this that's not comfortable. And both sides are valid. They're not comfortable. The girls are not comfortable. But here's the thing. They can all have their privacy. They can all be accommodated already without us doing anything different with the policies.
Right.
And I think because we found out they were changing in the nurse's office. That was an accommodation. You're comfortable. Everyone else is comfortable. Everyone is safe. So there is a solution. And then it sounds like there's a demand for wanting to be, quote unquote, inclusive. Okay, to a point, I understand that. However, this is a safety and privacy issue. I get it. They don't have a lot of time to change. I know all the arguments.
Right.
Everyone's right.
Yeah.
Honestly, everyone is right. But at the end of the day, as adults, we wouldn't tolerate being uncomfortable and our privacy being violated.
Right.
So we have to extend that to our children and set that example.
Yeah, we can't act like, so that's another argument that's been really bothering me about it. And like, I'm losing sleep over this stuff, to be honest with you, because I'm like, it's like, this isn't rocket science.
It's not.
And I don't care what side of the political spectrum you sit on.
It's irrelevant.
This
is a human issue.
We should all agree that if these girls are uncomfortable, then we need to address it.
Yes.
I don't know. Let's what are some notes that you have from the meeting?
Let's see here. I mean, a lot. Okay. I mean, I want to address the elephant in the room at the start of the meeting. Chelsea Boyle being on Zoom. I was like, wait, I can do that? Like,
you zoom in.
You know what I mean? I know it had to do with like the cure and correct stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that was the exception because she doesn't live here.
Yeah, maybe that was some sort of negotiation.
I'm guessing that's what it was because I was like, well, wait a minute. If she gets to be on Zoom, then I can do my public comments from home too. Like that was my first thought. I was like, well, excuse me, I live here. I want to be on Zoom making my comments, So there was that. So I was like, all right, that's interesting. But then as we went along, I was like, oh, okay, it probably has to do with the cure and correct. And maybe that was something that they just agreed upon. This like a one-time thing or while this is an issue or I don't know because that wasn't actually clarified. It was just like, there she was on the screen. I was like, wait a minute. If she can make public comments over Zoom, sign me up. That'll make my life a lot easier because I can't always go to those. But I don't think it was for that. So I just thought I would point that out because I was like, what the heck? Dang, that's really nice. Where can I sign up for that? Let's see.
You know what? This was, that was at the action items, right? That was at the action items?
Yeah.
Where she talked?
It was at the beginning.
For the cure and correct. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the adoption of the cure and correct.
I got to note the thing that they discussed right before they went into section N of action items. So from the consent calendar.
Okay.
Consent calendar number 46. Memorandum of Understanding, Riverside University Health System, Behavioral Health, Substance Abuse Prevention, Intervention, Education, and Rehabilitation Services.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Stump talked about that, didn't he? That they offered a bunch of other stuff, or maybe I'm confusing them.
Who?
Rusty Stump had made a public comment about that.
Yeah. So here's the thing is we've brought this up on the podcast before. This is UHS. This is the organization that's building the mental health facility
Temecula Valley.
over here at Temecula Valley Hospital.
Which we opposed.
But here's the thing that I want to point out. Everybody talks shit about Derek. Everybody talks about Derek's a conspiracy theorist. Derek, I want to find it. I want to find it where he's like, watch, dude. Next, they're gonna try to get into the schools to provide some sort of counseling service.
You were right, Derek.
Just so they could put the kids inside of those facilities.
Yep.
And like
That's
I
what
saw
happened.
this and I texted him right away. I was like, dude, you called it. They were laughing at us about this.
I don't know why though. That's not far fetched. Like, Because it was the messenger? I don't understand that.
Yeah, maybe. But again.
No offense, sir. Sorry.
No, you're good. But again, so basically, UHS is the organization that brought this mental health facility to Temecula. It's going to serve all of Riverside County.
I am so opposed. It's not even
just
funny.
to remind everybody, our opposition to this was because we are going to be pulling in all of the mental health people into Temecula, and then they will be released from the hospital.
Right by all the
If
schools.
they're homeless or, do you think they're going to get on a bus to go back to Riverside?
Absolutely not.
Or are they just going to go to the riverbed here? So again, this is something I tried to tell the community about. We did a lot of talking about it. We went to not the school board, city council to talk about it and address it. Multiple people showed up.
I wrote into the hospital directly as well, the commission that was in charge of doing that presentation.
Yeah, I mean, it was
like, and I'm not.
Yeah, the presentation was a joke. I mean, Derek and I went. They did a community presentation, and they were like laughing at our concerns. It was ridiculous that this is like. It was supposed to be like, let us put you at ease about this, but really, what it was like,
we're doing this.
We're doing it,
Deal
just so
with
you
it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they laughed in our face, and then so here we are. They're trying to bring into our schools substance abuse prevention, intervention, education, and rehab services. That is crazy.
Not only is it crazy, this is Temecula, guys. This isn't LA.
Yeah.
This isn't San Diego. This
Right.
isn't San Francisco. It's Temecula, California. We
Right.
don't have that problem here.
Right. But again, this is another way to circumvent parents' controls over our children.
Right.
Because it would just allow our children access to this hospital, and then maybe they go, you know what, you sound like you have a mental health issue. Maybe we're just gonna take you in for an evaluation.
Hey, are you over 12 years old?
Yeah,
Sign here.
Yeah, and then that's it, and then it's done.
Nope.
So
Nope.
anyways, for those of you tuning in, this did fail. This did not pass.
Right.
4-1 vote. I'm sure you can imagine who the one vote was. Mr. Steven Schwartz, our favorite. So I think that's great.
Yep.
I think that's great. I applaud our board.
Yes. Good
I
job,
think
guys.
this is the first time you guys got
Way
applause.
to go. You get a gold star.
One gold star. It's fucking September. You guys been in since December.
Oh my gosh, that's true. Yikes.
And then I thought that there were some really good comments on this adopt a resolution response. And then, I don't know. Were there any comments on that number one action item that you talked about with Chelsea that you wanted to go over or no?
I just find it interesting that we are kind of having some regulars now. It's like, it feels like it's the same people again, kind of like it was in the past. It's just the same things keep being said over and over. I mean, not really, because it's the same song and dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if I want to do the comments thing this time around because I feel like I agreed with a lot of the comments and it's just going to be redundant. I think that we really double tapped it. I do want to talk about this though.
Okay.
About I made a post about this.
Okay.
But action item number 2, adopt district accountability plan presentation, superintendent and board evaluation documents. Upneat got up there, okay, and her first 2 minutes and 20 seconds, she talked about everything else except this. And then she also talked about the ACLU lawsuit.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's important is because I actually studied the lawsuit because
Right.
I had it in my comments. And there's a portion in there that says specifically that this settlement is not an admission of guilt or
Right.
anything like that,
Right.
and it should not be construed as such.
And yet,
And again, she got up there and talks about how her First Amendment right was violated and Dr. K broke the law. The settlement that we have specifies that that is not the case.
Correct.
We literally paid $24,000 of our own money
Yep.
from the district
Yep.
for them to not paint it that way.
Right.
But every chance she gets up there,
Right.
she does. And like, I don't understand why nobody is correcting her, especially Melinda Anderson as the school board president. Because again, if you read that, she can now be sued. Like from the time that happened, which was last year, 3 years, Upneat is essentially a watchdog of our district for the
ACLU.
ACLU for the ACLU, for that organization to make sure that they aren't breaking the rules of the settlement.
Well, then she shouldn't be breaking them by misconstruing the information.
Exactly.
That's in the lawsuit.
And that's
she probably
my
shouldn't
point.
bring it up.
Yeah. And you know, and then I saw that for that action item, she went up there and talked about everything but the action item. And then her last 40 seconds, she tried to talk about the action item and didn't.
She wasn't interrupted.
Yeah, she got like 3 sentences out and didn't even talk about anything in action item 2.
Right.
So then when it came to, I think it was one of the action items, I think it was 14. Yeah, it was action item 14. I had comments for, and I knew I'd have a lot of time left. So I tried to point that out, like just to let you know. And I got cut off right away.
You did.
So
recall that.
it's just the president should be aware that there's this lawsuit hanging over your head, and that lady that you just let do what she wants up there seemingly is violating that
Lawsuit.
the rules of that
Yeah.
lawsuit.
Yeah.
So you should probably correct that because as soon as you violate it, she'll jump all over you.
Absolutely.
She'll jump all over you. And I almost wonder if that's why Upneat's allowed to move free willy-nilly up there. I don't know. I don't get it.
It doesn't paint a good picture, especially to the public when they're not fully informed. So they're just seeing it from if they're there or online without any context. But it's like you brought it up, you were immediately cut off. She gets to talk about it the whole time when it had nothing to do with that item. Not interrupted once.
Yeah.
Literally not once.
Yeah. And again, like I could have stood up there on the podium and been like, just so you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I was like, all right, no worries.
All right, so
I'll
yeah,
save this
I'm
for
going to
another
talk
time.
about it later.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry.
Yeah, don't
I
worry.
have a
I'm gonna
place
get my
I can talk
time.
about this. Don't worry.
I wonder.
So it's just, yeah, but it's interesting to me, and the community should be made aware of this because again, that's not the first time. I
No, it's not.
remember one time in the middle of a meeting, she's like, "Can I add something?" And she just stood up and started talking. And I was
Sit down.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What the hell? It's weird.
It is weird.
It's
And again,
weird.
it can't be rules for thee, not for me. We need to be fair across the board. Whether we agree with what someone's saying or not, they have a right to speak when it's their turn, and don't interrupt them. If you're not going to do it with this constituent, you shouldn't do it with another. It needs to be fair across the board. That's where I have an issue. I don't care what was being said. I don't care if it was the craziest thing I've ever heard someone utter. Everyone has a right to speak. Don't cut them off. And if you're going to cut them off, you better cut every single person that's violating the exact same thing that you told them to stop doing.
Yeah, I mean, as the president,
Yes.
you should just be consistent.
Be consistent.
But yeah, I mean, I've never talked about Upneat. I've never. That post that I made about her, matter of fact, when I went and gave the comment, is the first time I've ever used her name and talked about her.
This is true, actually.
I've been very respectful.
Right.
Like I know, for example, I know that Jeff Pack doesn't listen to our podcast. I know that he sends Upneat to listen to it, and then he gets
Give
the
the
spark
notes.
notes from Upneat.
Why?
From our podcast. I don't know.
Jeff, just
I don't know.
listen.
Yeah, I know.
It's probably better and easier for you. You want all those notes? Just listen. It's shorter. Even speed it up.
So
That is so wild.
I also know, and what's interesting is that now that I gave public comment, dude, I always get DMs from, and my requested box is so interesting, because I'll click on it and like, it used to be a lot of like right-wing people like giving me information.
Yeah, Danny, here's
yeah,
this. Talk about this.
Did you know that they're using our schools to bring in migrants? And I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm not talking.
That's called a conspiracy.
Like, there's just things that
You're like,
yeah, I'm like, oh, thanks for sharing. You know what
Thanks,
I mean?
brother. Maybe next time.
But also, I get people from the left who say, hey, I heard what you said. I just want you to know, blah, blah. I have learned, like, we think that Upney is like, because she goes up there and she's very... Dude, listen to one of her public comments. She's very full of herself. She'll start every comment about her upbringing and her grandfather and her history.
Yeah.
And like, that's cool and all, but like, get to the point, dude.
Please
we don't
give
want
it
to
a
hear
rest, ma'am.
We don't want to hear your biography.
Just make your comments.
But
Thank you.
And we've been thinking like all of us hear it and they're like, God, why does the left keep sending this lady up there? All right.
Because she's the one that has the most confidence, and she knows no one's going to cut her off.
Here's what I've learned is that a lot of the left don't like her either. And
Oh.
I had no idea.
Wow. Yikes.
I had no idea. I was like, oh, man. Okay, well, damn.
I'm glad I'm not that person. Wow, that's so sad.
yeah, right? Because we thought, we were like, dang,
Yeah, they
why are you
really
guys
go
sending
hard
up
for
there to
her.
champion
And
you
they're like,
guys?
we didn't send her.
They're like, we're in the back cringing too.
Wowzers, that's embarrassing. Well.
So anyways, I just, look, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. I'm just
not.
calling a spade a spade.
Of
And the
course,
thing
yeah.
is like, and I didn't get to, here's another thing. Is I was all about Melinda Anderson moving the comments to the back of the
Yeah,
meeting.
you still get your time.
That was fine.
Yeah, totally.
Until I watched her be too exhausted from this last meeting and cut all of us to 2 minutes. Yeah. She literally said, how many comments? There's 17 comments. How many people are still here? There was maybe 8 of us.
Right.
So it's
Give us
like,
a
it's
3.
half. It's
Yeah.
half. And she wanted to do a minute and a half. And they're
That's
like,
right.
give them
No,
2.
they said 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we got 2 minutes. So it's like, I didn't get my point across, but the point that I was making is that we have this new advisory committee, this community advisory committee, and 3 of the 5 people on that community advisory committee are people from one Temecula PAC.
Not a good look, guys.
Okay? This is supposed to represent the whole community? Are you joking?
Well, and it's who's ever appointing them, right? So it's not one person doing it with all of them. But again, it needs to be balanced.
Right.
And that is very biased and one-sided. Obviously, it's not fully formed yet. We're well aware of that. But that's besides the point.
Yeah. Well, I just think that I do I've messaged with email and he knows how I feel about the One Temecula PAC, the leadership. And again, I feel how I feel about the PAC because I've seen them lie. The way they lied and manipulated is why I started this platform. People like that should have no control in our community, especially not the school board.
Correct.
And then I dug into Mr. Jeff Pack and realized his story and his relationship with his kids and his family. He has no business around anybody's children.
Wow.
Okay? And so I have a personal gripe with this guy that automatically
He's inserted
himself
Yeah.
as like this powerhouse, and no,
Yeah.
we don't want that guy as a board member. Fuck you, dude.
Yep.
What's your leverage here?
Yep.
All you care about is your property tax and shit. All you care about is your property value.
Right.
I have kids in the district.
Right.
And I tried, again, when I first started, I tried to reach out to him.
Right.
I tried to talk to him.
I think you even mentioned that on earlier episodes.
Yeah,
that you
he
tried to
wouldn't
do that.
even sit down with me. So again, my feelings towards this guy have to do with the fact that I just think he is not a good person. He has no business having any say. Okay? And I've expressed this. I've gone in depth with
Right.
people in private
Right.
about what I know
Right.
and why I feel how I feel, including Emil.
Right.
And recently, Emil is like defending him.
Oh,
Emil
wow.
is like saying, "Oh, the pack wasn't that bad. They were right, dude." And then I hear that Emil is meeting with Jeff Pack and hearing things like Emil say, "Yeah, sometimes Jeff gives me advice, and it's actually good advice." And it's like, so when I put that piece of the puzzle to what we've seen since December, the pack has been quiet because they don't have to go after Jen and Joe. Not with Emil up there doing the work for them. Right. They don't have to. And then you look at, how did they get 3 of their people on this committee?
Right.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. And again, I'm
not
trying to say that like this is corruption.
Conspiracy.
I'm just saying, I'm saying that that's what it looks like.
Well, of
given
course.
the information that's being brought to me.
Right.
So it's like, again, like, and
optics matter.
Yeah, and again, hey, like Gary Oddie, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. All
He's
right?
been part of the district.
Yeah,
for
he's
so
been part of the
long.
district.
I think that's one of the reasons why he would advise, because he's been on the inside. He knows how it all works. However,
and okay, and I'll say this now, the other guy, I'm not going to say his name because I know him. I've seen him. He's an involved dad. Him and I, we don't really get along like that. I've had multiple encounters with him, but based off my encounters, he has done a good job not being a public person. And I think it has to do with his career, what he does for work. So I have chose to not throw his name out there
and I
publicly.
commend you for that, because that's just a respect thing right there.
And again, like I think that the guy I'm talking about, I think he is a consummate professional. I think that, even though I don't, he's bashed me online and you know, and we've gone back and forth. I've said things that aren't nice about him. We've been in the DMs. We've sat at Starbucks, so, fine, fine.
Right.
But the Upneat thing is what gets me, is like, she shouldn't be on this.
It's a conflict of interest at the very least, in my opinion, especially with this whole lawsuit that's dangling over the district. I think at some point we have to have boundaries and draw a line somewhere with certain people, in general. It could be anybody. It could be me too, whoever. If there's certain conflicts or things that have happened in the past that are currently affecting the way that business is being conducted and how those interactions are happening with that person, I don't know if it's the wisest thing to have them on any committee.
Right.
At this time.
Right. At this time.
Yes. I'm not saying she can't contribute. She's a constituent. She has a right. Maybe just not right now.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
Is like, that's not your... Putting her on this committee is not acting in the best interest of the community.
No, it's not.
You're acting in your own best interest for self-preservation because you don't want any lawsuits. And then now here we are with more. We have global spotlight. There was, you know what I mean? Like, there was a British podcaster talking about us.
That's insane. I can't believe we're having this conversation right now.
Have you heard what's going on in Temecula, California? Like, what the fuck? Can you believe the school board? Like, what?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who sent it to me, but I thought the fans would appreciate this. Whoever sent it to me, I watched it, I listened to it, and I just responded with like a Paul Revere meme, like, the British are coming,
What are we even talking about?
I can't, dude. I can't. I just, so look, and here's another thing is, I actually reached out to Dr. Or Superintendent, Dr. Woods. I reached out to Dr. Woods, and because I heard about this advisory committee after Emil put Gary Oddie on it. So I was like, hey, how do I get in on this thing?
Right.
I would like to submit my name.
I think he's the last one to pick, right?
Yeah.
To finish it.
But well, I think it's already done. It's already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
they have.
That's
they have
how much we don't know about the advisory committee right now.
They just have 5 right now, and they have their 5. They had their first meeting.
Oh, okay.
And he told me, like, hey, I'm confident in the people. The meeting went great.
Okay.
He's like, I'm gonna put you on a list.
Okay.
you're going to be on the shorter list is what he told me, you know. And, but here's the thing is like, I didn't realize who was on that committee.
I didn't either until it started coming
yeah.
out of the woodwork. So I was like, wait, what's going on?
So now that I know that, I want to make sure that people understand. I don't even want to be on that committee anymore.
Well, that's not going to be productive.
We need to pick people who have not been in the mix with all this nonsense, and it's doable.
It is. There's lots of people that want to contribute.
Yeah, one Temecula pack at its strongest was 500 people. We're a community of like 100 and something thousand. Yeah, come on,
give or take.
Come on.
Yeah.
There are parents who will step up for this.
Yeah.
Do a public post through the district website talking about how you're looking for community members that want to be part of this. You know, but instead we're letting the board members pick, and they're picking people who are in their buddy cool club. It's bullshit. We got to have a group
full
that
disclosure, I'm on a subcommittee. So I can only speak to so much without looking like an asshole. So I'm all about transparency, but it's not because I'm buddy. I just have been involved for so long.
Yeah, well, what's the subcommittee you're in?
Special education.
Right. And you
and it's
have
ongoing,
children in the
and there's-
district
yes,
that are with
yes,
SPED
yes,
students.
Yes.
You've been involved in
Yes.
SPED. I can't think of
I'm just
another
in case
person.
someone tries to pull the keyboard warrior shit.
You know
I'm on a subcommittee.
You know they're gonna.
Yeah.
Right now, Up needs pulling out her hair, erasing her notes. She's like, "Damn it, I was gonna."
GPT, type this out, please. Yes, I am.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, dude, I think that this next meeting is gonna be interesting.
Very.
And again, this is gonna air after that next meeting, guys.
Correct.
So bear with us.
Yes, sorry, it's my schedule.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's all good. We're doing what we can.
Yep.
But there are some things on this agenda that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, we can't really speak to it until we see what happens at the meeting. I got invited on another podcast. I'm a little annoyed because I got invited to be a guest on a podcast on Tuesday, and I had to call and cancel today because the agenda dropped. And I'm like, hey, dude, I was going to just watch the meeting later, but I got to show up to this one just because it's, it's it's important. I want to see what decisions we're making.
Yep.
You know, what's interesting is the other thing actually is agenda item number 4, where they were going to approve the administrative regulation for the policy, but number 3 got rescinded. So they pulled like
Right.
I had it, and I've told people in the comments about this because people have been critical of me of like my post and like they're like, oh, you're trying to frame an argument, and it's, no, I'm not. These are questions I already had. So like, and when we're done here, I'll show you because I had my comments typed up, but I talked about how the because for those of you who are listening, there's board policy, right? They pass a parental rights. Yay, parental rights. But then there's administrative regulation.
Right.
And the administrative regulation is how it's implemented.
Correct.
Okay? So like when we last had the parental rights policy about how you have to notify the parent if a child wants to identify as a different name or whatever, okay? The way it got implemented was bullshit. Because there was a student that came out, and then that principal at that school basically told that, allegedly, this is what I heard. Allegedly, the principal at that school pulled that student and said, retract what you said, otherwise I'm going to call your parents.
And you spoke to that. I
spoke
remember
to that at a board meeting.
Yes.
And it's like, this is not what we signed up for.
No.
So the fact that it's being used as a bully tactic to push kids back in the closet, fuck you.
Yep.
Were those parents even ever notified?
Probably not.
You know? So
again, allegedly, we don't know, but
right. So that's the thing for me is, okay, what I've learned is the board policy isn't the end of the road for us. It might be end of the road for the board members because
Correct.
that's where,
but
you know what I mean?
the district now has to implement those
Right.
changes.
And that's how it's going to impact us as parents.
Correct. And
So
it's
that-
29 sites,
Right.
guys. It's not that simple.
Right. So when I looked at this AR, there were several loopholes, several issues, not loopholes. There were several issues. Okay. One of them, for example, is like, okay, it talks about how it separated the students from like, if you have one of these waivers on file, you're considered an accommodated student. The rest of the population is considered general population. So no accommodated student should be, it says something like they shouldn't be, they shouldn't feel like singled out because they're an accommodated student.
How would anyone know that though?
Exactly. And so that was one of the things that I had in my comments.
That's
is like,
weird.
Are you going to notify these students about these rights?
Yeah.
Because you're now implementing a policy where if they're accommodated, they have rights where they have to be respected. So how would they know that they have these rights if you never present it?
Which then pushes us into this weird activism, secrecy.
Yep. Okay. So you ready for this?
Yeah.
So then also the administrative regulation says that accommodated students will wait outside. Once the general population leaves the locker room, accommodated students will get approximately 5 minutes to change. Hold on now. 3 minutes exactly is also approximately 5 minutes. So you're saying that no staff member should single out these students, but then you have these loopholes where
that's
staff
exactly
members
what's
can
happening.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
And
what I mean?
allegedly that's what happened at James L. Day.
And again, I wrote these comments before that came out. So
Right.
when I heard that, I was pissed.
Right.
So, and that's why, and that's what I was explaining to people in the
comments,
DMs
yeah.
is like, dude, I'm not just making this up. Like,
Right.
I already saw this as like a potential issue if we
Correct.
passed
And then
this.
it became
and then it
an
came out. And it's
issue.
like, yeah, look, staff
Yeah.
members are doing it right there. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So it's just, yeah, there's a lot. And like as parents, guys, we need to be locked in to what the board is presenting and look through it with a fine tooth comb and don't do it. Look, I'm not saying like how some people do it. They go up there. We already talked about it enough, but they'll go up there and talk about like the specific finances and certain things. And it's like, dude, do it for your best interest, right? Like things that are being passed, like what does the administrative regulation, what is it going to look like in the schools? How are they going to implement
How is it executed?
Yeah, that's what we need to focus on. It's not just the board passing it and the board policy, but the administrative regulation is really where the rubber meets the road on how your child will be impacted.
Absolutely.
It's way more important to see what comes from that. And so yeah, and even in the comments, I talked about how, no student should be marked tardy. You guys need to put that in here.
Correct.
No accommodated student should be marked tardy. And then it came out, they're being marked tardy. Dog, what do you,
That's
like,
crazy.
come on.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Again, it needs to be fair across the board.
Right.
Everyone should be treated equally.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so difficult.
Well.
Even with the law.
Yeah.
You're already accommodating, so just give the time.
Yeah. This is frustrating. I had a parent that I like. I've gotten along with her.
You talking about me?
Well,
about to talk some shit, Danny?
Well, what's funny is this parent actually has the same perspective as you, where
funny.
she was like telling me like, no, you don't worry about accommodating your daughter. Her dignity is more important than some grade. You pull her out of the schools, and I didn't respond, because I understand that perspective, but it's like, look, my household and our lifestyle, we just don't have the luxury to pull my
and
kids
honestly,
out.
I don't either.
You know what I mean?
I really don't. And and I totally get that. It's an extreme. But the point that I was trying to make with that was I'm not going to subject if this is really going on and it's this bad, I'm not going to keep sending my kid to school to deal with it.
Totally.
I'm still going to fight for it while I pull them out.
And that's the other thing is it's subjective. Like here's the thing that my personal situation is that like when this came up, I spoke to my daughter about the document.
Correct.
About, hey, what do you think about this waiver?
Yeah.
And she literally said like, those were my bathrooms first. I'm not signing anything to leave. So like, again, she doesn't feel uncomfortable. She's not in this position where she can see a biological boy changing in front of her and it's making her feel uncomfortable. She's not. And if we're in that position, well, then I'll address it for my daughter, but yeah. And one more thing before we go out, that's another thing that parents need to get better at. We hide behind the board members. We really do.
We do. And I have comments about that after you.
Okay. Great. Because I saw something at my daughter's school in a classroom I don't agree with. We emailed the teacher. We made our presence known. We made sure it was clear. If you're going to be teaching things that are culturally, what's the word I'm looking for? That are culturally controversial, we would like to know about it so we can also have those conversations at home. We, in my household, we have a certain set of values and a certain set of beliefs. And if my child is going to be introduced to material that conflicts with that, then I want to know about it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, look, that exchange was cordial. We told the teacher, like, we're not trying to tell you that you need to take stuff out of your classroom or nothing like that. You have every right. We believe in the First Amendment. I understand there's different opinions. But I also have a right to decide what adults are spending time with my child. So I would like to know more about your position on these things based on what I saw in your classroom. And the thing is that teacher was equally direct. It was, we found common ground. But what's more important is, like, we got to make sure these teachers know, like, my kid, we're not playing that.
Correct.
So we have to be willing to have balls.
Correct.
And reach out to these teachers.
Absolutely.
And make our presence known. They have no problem hanging up the rainbow flag in their classroom. That's their prerogative. We need to be equally strong in our convictions.
Here's
if
my
we
flag.
don't agree with that. Right. You know what I
Yes.
mean? If
Yep.
we think like, hey, that's how you feel, that's great. Now, how do you incorporate that into the curriculum?
Correct.
That's what I want to know.
Correct.
You know, I feel like a lot of parents see something and they're like, you just assume the teacher's woke, you know, and then you run to the school board member, you make a comment. It's like,
Not the way to
dude,
do it.
Stand up and make your presence known. Like, you know, you can't be emotionally bullied into silence because you're afraid, you know, oh, this is a teacher. No, don't work like that. We have rights.
You're
too. We have
dropping
a
your
say.
child off.
Right.
We pay their salaries.
Right.
There should be no fear there. If
Right.
you don't like conflict, I don't know what to tell you. It's public school.
Yeah.
There's conflict all the time.
Every day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like you're right. And that leads me into this part before we leave. I wrote it out, but I'll just kind of give basically a summary of it. I've talked about it before on the podcast and with community members and with you as well. Parents need to be more involved. At the end of the day, the reason we're in the position we are with legislation is because of us. At the end of the day, we're in the situation here in Temecula because of us. We cannot continue blaming the teachers and the district and the administration when all they're doing is their job under the crazy, disgusting laws that we have in California. And then we are in an uproar and an outrage because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. It doesn't make it right because I don't agree with a lot of the crazy stuff going on here. But I don't have the same problem as another parent does because I'm not going and speaking to it on a podium. I'm not going and telling a trustee. I'm at the school dealing with the teacher, like you said, and the administration and having an understanding of what's going on, what's expected, and how I want them to be operating. And if we're not agreeing, then yeah, we have a problem, right? And they're aware. I am that parent. I am not going to let this just go away.
Right.
And I have sped kids, so it's a whole other ball game. And then they have a legal obligation because of the IEPs and all of that. So it's a little different, but again, it's about accountability. And at the end of the day, it is up to us as parents. I'm not saying, hey, you're all failing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to be more informed. If you can't be more informed on a community level, you need to be in your children's classroom. And obviously, I don't mean literally in their classroom. Just pay attention to what's going on every day. Ask questions. Be involved enough so that things like this with the locker room, because a lot of parents didn't even know.
Right.
And some still don't because they're not in the know with social media
right.
and in these walkouts and protests. They're too busy trying to survive right now, as is everyone.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, we cannot be going over to the board and lashing out on them about their missteps or, the workarounds that they're trying to accommodate for everyone, they are held to the law. They took an oath. We don't get to pick and choose when we want them to abide by the law and when we don't. Now, that brings me to my next point as well. If the majority of Temecula citizens want our board to violate the law, that's fine. Say that, but also understand the consequences behind that. We're going to lose a lot of money doing that. If you're okay with that, fine. That's fine. We'll just waste all the money in lawsuits.
And then not to forget about what we already experienced, where the demographic who isn't going to be okay with that, no matter the minority they are, they're going to put roadblocks in the way and pointless lawsuits and make it even more difficult.
Correct.
So, it's, yeah.
My thing is we cannot ask our board members who are not legislators. They are holding a public seat because we put them there to represent us. They cannot pass laws. They have zero influence when it comes to that. And some people will argue, yes, they do have influence. They can write a letter. We can come together. I understand all that. It still makes no difference. People aren't going to like me saying that, but it's the truth.
It is the
you
truth.
want it to be changed? You, as the parent, as the person that's going to the podium upset that the school board members can't change the law, call your legislators. Go to Sacramento. Get the community to be involved to make those changes with the law because the board members cannot do that. They'll never have that power. And people need to understand that we can't uphold them to something they cannot change. Their hands are tied. We don't have to like the laws here, but it's up to us to change it. So we have to pick our battle. I would love to see this energy go towards changing the law and speaking with our legislators rather than screaming at our board members. They're not getting it right all the time. That's evident. We talk about that every time we come on the show. But at the end of the day, it's up to us as Californians to make that change. Otherwise, we're going to keep getting upset. We're going to keep having the same culture wars, the same this, that, and the other thing until the law changes.
Yeah, and, being involved in the classroom and, like, interacting with the teacher, look, when I first got into this, I thought like a lot of the teachers are woke.
They're not.
I've learned that they're not.
They're not.
I've learned that a lot of these teachers follow the law and don't like it as much as I don't.
Correct.
So.
But what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. But again, if you step up and get engaged and make your presence known, you'll know what teachers like you, what teachers believe in your values, share your values, and
connect with each other.
Dude, yeah. We can't just write everyone off as left-wing extremists.
It's not
because
true.
we see one teacher outside of James L. Day with a camera, right? It's like, I just get that teacher's name. I will ensure my children will never have that teacher.
Never.
And
never.
And that's it. And that's the end of it.
Problem solved.
So.
Yep.
That's what we got to do. We got to step up. We have to be more engaged.
And
Zoom in on it.
We do. And we just have to pick our battle. I'm not saying anything that anyone's done, whether they're on the left or the right, is wrong. Everyone's right here. But take the energy where it's actually going to make the impact and the change, not just get the attention. What is going to change by what you're doing?
Yeah.
It's not going to be screaming at the board members. I can tell you that.
Right.
Go change the law.
Even though we're going to see that on Tuesday, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Guaranteed.
For sure.
I hope they're ready.
Danny will be there to chew your asses out.
I promise I'll be nice today. This time. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Cole, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.